we are here to bring you everything and anything surrounding Porsche. I'm Mike.
I'm Aaron.
And this is P-Car Talk.
Welcome to another episode of P-Car Talk. We are at Benton Performance in Anaheim, California. We are with John and Ian Benton. Thanks for taking the time with us, guys. This is exciting. Get to see your shop and see all the great stuff you guys are doing here. Salute. You know, we got beers right now. We're drinking, taking it easy. I know you guys are slamming home because it's Luft Week, right?
Yeah, a few cars. They want their cars ready for Luft.
Yeah, everybody's. What's the sign say up there? Your procrastination is not my emergency.
Something like that. That's an abbreviation, but yeah, it's true. And it's same for me. I mean, like if I call a vendor and like, hey, they're like, you know, the whole Porsche world is backed up.
Yeah.
All the vendors, suppliers that have any merit, they're busy.
Exactly. It's a good thing though, right? I mean, to be busy. I mean, as long as you're transparent with everybody, like, look, I can get this shit for a while, so it's going to be a while before I get to it. Yeah,
it's worth the wait. You know, you gotta be patient sometimes. It's worth the wait.
I hear you. So I know, you know, everybody should know your story a little bit from Petrolicious. You know, with the 912 and when you hunted it down and your GM passed and stuff like that. Like, what I was kind of curious about, how did you make that transition over to Porsche? And when did you just say, like, I'm not going to be a muscle car GM / guy, I'm going to go after some German iron? Like, how did that turn over?
You know, I've talked to people, and some people, they are a Porsche guy, or they're a Chevy guy. I reserve the right to be a Chevy guy on Tuesday and a Porsche guy on Saturday. So I don't like being pigeonholed.
I agree.
I've driven lots of fun, fancy iron over the years. I drove a Tesla the other day, and I was like, holy shit. So there's fun stuff that's built out there. But I am brand loyal to a couple of brands, and that's Chevy and Porsche. That's my brand loyalty.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I know that kind of resonated with me with that story, because, you know, not everybody grows up and has the Magnus Walker's cliche, you know, not necessarily grew up with a Porsche, but I went to the
70 Martini
show when I was like 8. My dad showed me like a Martini Turbo, and then I knew I wanted that car the rest of my life.
So my big Porsche influence probably was my cousin Mike.
Okay.
He was he was a union guy, but he was a union plumber, industrial plumber, and he made a lot of money. And he loved to play tennis. He loved to drink rum and coke while driving his 911S.
Okay, ambitious.
And I thought he had god powers, you know, because he always had smoking hot girlfriend. He always had, literally had a cup of coke with some rum in it between his legs all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I know I'm not condoning drinking and driving, but
yeah.
But it was a different era.
Yeah. And
he always had a fun little Porsche. And incidentally, the first Porsche I ever drove was one of his Porsches, which was a 66 912. Sand beige. He had a bad front window seal. It was in place, but at speed you could hear it, and it made a very distinctive shh.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, what is that? I actually kind of liked it, but it's not standard equipment.
Okay.
A little extra character.
So the uncle is kind of where you got
cousin Mike.
Cousin Mike,
yeah.
Kind of got your taste there.
Yeah, and I liked going fast. And I got to tell you, driving with V8 power on a car that doesn't handle very well, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Is that what you put? Is that how you? Yeah.
And then driving a car that handles.
Because you don't know if you're going to live or die, right?
Well, I'm usually an optimist in that regard. I've crawled from a couple of wreckage. Yeah, I've crawled from a few, but. So the transition for me, right now I drive a Chevy diesel. That's my daily. Yeah. My HD 3500, you know. Yeah. But I like driving the Porsche car, and I have my 59 single cab. Yep. And I have some other toys put away people don't know about, you know. But I don't broadcast everything about myself. Yeah. For a while I had a John and Benton Instagram account. I haven't touched that for probably a month or so. And Instagram, I started Instagram because of Ian.
Yeah, that was my fault.
It was good.
It's a good thing.
Well, it was a good thing, and I thought I had more followers, and suddenly within a week he had like 2,000.
That was funny.
You pretty much killed my entire game, and I felt like, okay.
Okay, so just, Ian and I have always been competitive, no matter what it is. So, like, we used to play Age of Empires.
Oh, man.
Nice.
He doesn't play it anymore.
I don't play anymore because he totally rocked my game and destroyed me, and I'm like, that's it. Crushed me. It took a while, but once he mastered the game, I wouldn't forget about it.
No fun anymore.
Beat him so bad he just quit, huh?
Oh, completely.
That was it.
He was very upset. He said I cheated.
He didn't talk to you for like half a day after?
You absolutely did cheat.
I did my homework is what I did.
You did. Mayans, come on. Mayans never fought the Britons.
Yeah, but if they did.
Okay, well.
Look at him. He strategized.
He did. He did. Those, whatever the special units were, they were just... they were on cocaine. You could tell. They were totally on cocaine.
Yeah, the cocoa leaves. That's what they're just chewing.
Oh, yeah, chewing the hell out of those things.
Nuts, right?
They'll do it.
So, I mean, I imagine, like, since you were young, Ian, you probably were around cars all your life, right? I mean, what's your most earliest memory you can think about with Porsche with your dad that you can remember?
My earliest memories were just being out at the track. Probably Willow Springs.
Yeah?
I mean, I've been hitting the head quite a few times, so it's very spotty, but I can...
And often pain, too, right?
Yeah. I can remember vividly being out at the track, and it was always fun. I love the sound of the cars. When I hailed,
It did.
once again, I got hit in the head with a very large...
We were out at EVOC in San Bernardino, and a hailstorm hit. And there's a field of about 120 cars. And it was the biggest hail I've ever seen in California. And
So I'm getting the shit beat out of me.
Oh, yeah.
Him laughing. I can remember him laughing
I was.
hysterically.
I mean, it was hurting me too, but you were like, You look like a scene from The Godfather where you're getting, like, just worked with a Tommy gun. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
But no, I think I have more memories of just being in the back of the car, in the front of the car, just riding.
Yeah.
The way he drives, it's always been an experience.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He got me used to it pretty young.
Yeah. Baptism by fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. So you don't know any different. You're reckless from the day you were born. So it's like...
Oh, I drive the shit out of my 1990 Honda Civic.
That's right.
Balls to the
1.6 liters from hell.
Get him hell!
Do all the gears work in that tranny?
Oh, most of them.
Most of them? Yeah, I was going to say.
No, it's actually pretty clean.
What was your first Porsche, Ian?
A 66 912.
That's right.
And I did something no one's ever done. I painted it silver and put a red interior in it.
Yeah. Definitely a first.
That's never been done.
a color combo. That one could do that.
No, you know what? I'll tell you what though. You did have some styling changes. You put you had like a Ferrari-esque interior with the black vinyl with red exposed thread.
Yeah, the two-tone and then the threading.
Like
it was pretty dope.
Daytona, play on Daytona.
You put French seams everywhere. It was pretty cool.
Well, at the time, I was working in an upholstery shop. I think when I was around 15, 16.
I kind of remember when you guys previously talked about that to somebody where you were kind of farming his labor out to learn to hone his craft, right?
Well, he was fishing me out to
the old
pimping you out. That's what we call it.
No, but the old German way is the butcher sends his son to the baker sends his son to the,
No, I like that idea. That's great.
And so
I can clean the shit out of a bathroom. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That makes
Nice.
probably.
hey, the original captain of the,
Why am I working at the canteen down at the taco stand? You need to learn that craft. You never know.
I was like, Ian, you're going to be learning some upholstery. Okay, let's do it. First day on the job. Ian, this is a mop.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of standard at any shop, right? Like even with a young apprentice as a mechanic wants to come in,
so.
like
I
learn
feel like
somewhere.
that's
I don't
how
think
it should be.
they're going to be like, there's the keys to the tool chest.
Dude, my
nuts.
generation's
It's kinda
all
like
messed up,
you. Here's the Windex and the newspaper. Start cleaning the mirrors in the bathroom.
That is the way it goes down. I mean, back my early days over in Southgate, I used to clean windows on Tweedy Boulevard. I had a wagon and squeegees and extensions, and I used to.
What do they want?
Yeah, that's a client calling from New York.
Oh yeah.
Check your mic.
What do you want me to do?
Let's see if it's on. That's what I want to see.
Probably not. I don't know.
This is awesome. We have technical difficulties.
Just no, the button.
Oh.
Yep.
No, I don't think it's on.
But are you hearing through the other mics?
Yeah, I am.
So you're gonna have to like go like this.
I'm good.
So he magically just got like way louder.
Not way louder, but a little bit.
Holy shit.
Like
I'm back.
Like I weigh louder. That's a SoCal thing.
Oh, way louder.
But yeah, I mean, I did my own thing for a long, long time. But as I used to wash windows on Tweedy Boulevard, and there was a slot car track hobby shop there. A guy named Ed Daniff ran it, and my first real job, you know, working for somebody besides my pops or my grandpops, it was at the hobby shop. He said, "Hey, you're just gonna wash my windows." And that became mopping his floor, and that's the first time somebody put a piece of pumice in my hand, and I just this gory, ugly toilet, you know, like, oh, he's like, it has to be perfect. I'm like, all right,
It has to be perfect. You're like, I can't bring this back to a porcelain white.
I did, and I was shocked. A pumice stone is amazing.
I was gonna say, I'm sure you were grinding for a while.
Oh yeah, and then
it's kind of gross to think about the growth in that thing now.
It's fun. It's fun.
That's awesome though. So I mean, now you've kind of obviously worked your way back. You're, you know, under here at Benton Performance, you know, after when did you start back here?
I want to say 2015. No.
Oh no. More like 2013.
I hit in the head a lot.
Again.
I was gonna say I got married in 2015.
He's like, what happened during that?
Something special happened there.
Well, it was on
Love
and
you,
off.
babe.
Yeah, I mean, it was on and off.
Yeah.
But then, like, I remember when you came to me and says, "Look, you know what? I want to be part of the team, and
If you wore me out one more time,
that's it."
Yeah. I'm done cleaning toilets, Dad.
Yeah, tacos aren't cutting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, because Ian's really good at detail work, and you know, when we get a car back, like, you know, somebody brings us a chassis, it gets torn to bits, and we do mechanicals, we do the paint. And the interior, we farm out paint and interior. Everything else we do in-house.
Okay.
All the mechanical stuff, final assembly. But the final assembly, that's a very important job because that's what you see.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's delivery mode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as much as he sometimes thinks it's not that important, it's very important. So
you
Well, there was a time when, you know, Stoddard and Sierra Madre, they didn't make a lot of these parts they're making now. So I got really good at taking what we had and making it look as close to perfect as possible.
Oh, nice. So basically, like bringing stuff back to life.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it still works because there's still parts out there that they don't make.
and for us, a premier build is still that.
Yeah.
We try not to use anything that's provided.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. I mean, if you can, why not reuse the same stuff,
reuse
right?
the same stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I can tell from all the work that you guys have and the following that you guys have. I mean, the astounding work that you guys are doing is pretty amazing. So, I mean, what's as far as like, so is that where you're kind of honed in at, or is there going to be? Do you do engine stuff at any point? Are you wanting to learn that? Do you do that? Do you know how to do that stuff?
Engines will be next. Right now, I'm doing like transmission work.
Okay.
I'm constantly evolving and learning more.
That's pretty cool, though, right? Like,
it's fun.
Oh yeah, he kind of is the transmission division right now.
nice.
Because I have, what happens, I have Eric Verdugo is primarily the 4-cylinder engine builder, and Farshid is primarily the 911 engine builder. Tim does all the heavy fabrication. Steve does the alignment, all the chassis development and work. We have Micah, who's our intern, who shows up once in a while.
Hasn't cleaned a single bathroom.
Nope, he's been very lucky. He missed all that. I hired somebody to clean an outside company, so that's all gone now.
No more hazing of the
Exactly.
interns.
Well, when I
What's happening?
Well, I want us to do Captain of the Head.
Captain of the Head was the greatest thing ever because you cut out an envelope and tape it to the door of the head, and you have a 3x5 card with everybody's name on it, and you stick it in there, and when you're done, you put it in the back, and it says Captain of the Head, and when you're Captain of the Head, you get to keep it clean.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Should maybe reinstill that.
But now, we're at a point now where we have to stay ahead of the game. There's a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
Got a lot of stuff to go on. Yeah. You guys are busy. You guys are super busy. I like how you guys have such a tight-knit like group too, as opposed to a lot of other maybe shops out there, not to like name names, but I feel like your shop has a lot of like, you guys are very close.
We are. It's sometimes Sometimes it makes things difficult because we are pretty tight.
Like a family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So all the same things that happen in a family happen here.
Smelling
Good
each other's
things, bad
farts. You knew
things,
what
yeah.
you had for lunch. You're like, yeah,
Just about.
yeah,
You go to clean a bathroom, you knew who was in there.
yeah. Pizza again, huh?
Yep.
That's, no, that's pretty awesome. Go ahead, man.
So,
Yeah.
so you said you had some hidden toys. Are any of those hidden toys Porsches, or any different? Are the Porsches and Chevys like you like?
I have a little 911 put away. I have a race chassis put away, the 67 chassis. I have some motorcycles.
Nice.
I ride BMW, Yamaha.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm working on a Ducati project,
Nice.
06 Ducati 1000 Classic.
Nice.
That's some really cool stuff.
That's fun stuff.
That's fun, man.
Lane splitting is one of my favorite things.
That's cool that you guys get to do that out here too. By the way,
Oh, you can do it anywhere. It's just it's legal.
Well, yeah, good point. Actually,
Just take your chances.
Actually, good point. You know, but you're allowed to do it here, I guess.
You are, and people do abuse that.
Mm-hmm.
That
Technically, you're only allowed to lane split in certain lanes, and then certain
between the 1 and 2 lane, which is confusing because you have an HOV lane, which is a carpool lane, right?
Yeah, which is
That is not the number one.
Not 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So I take advantage of because I've been splitting lanes between carpool lane and number 1 lane with a CHP officer right behind me. You know, it's like, okay,
You're like,
never gotten pulled over for it. I do get out of the way though.
like, I guess this is okay. I guess.
This looks like 1 and 2 lane.
Lane splitting in a Porsche is fun as well,
Nice.
but more difficult.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be challenging. I want to talk a little bit about something that you're really passionate about, the La Carrera. A lot of our listeners really, you know, unless they're from this area, you know, we have a lot of global listeners all over the place, and as important as that race is, like we're in the know because we pay attention to the stuff like that. But can you educate some of our listeners about what the La Carrera is and why it's important and why personally you like doing that?
Well, there will be some ironies here as we discuss this, but La Carrera is a race that was founded to celebrate the opening of the Pan American Highway as it related to the country of Mexico. And back in 1950, you know, Mexico had a lot more in common with America as being part of America than it kind of does now. It's weird how things have changed, but you know, it's a big deal to have a major highway.
Absolutely.
And at the same time we were building our highway system, you know, during the Eisenhower era. So roads were important, and you know, like it or not, we're a car-based universe still.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, back in 1950, there's this huge, nice paved road that goes all the way from, you know, tip of America,
Yeah.
all the way to United States. So we're all America. People forget that.
I know exactly, right?
But
USA is the only one that counts.
yeah,
It's like, no, that's not true.
I don't think that's true at all. I think
Yeah.
it all should count. But anyways, so they celebrated this amazing achievement, and they had a race, the La Carrera Panamericana, and that race went on for 4 years, and it just became a little unwieldy. Cars got faster, didn't have the safety and wherewithal we have now, and so it just became a little bit unsafe for spectators and participants.
Okay.
And the race kind of went away. And it was this mythical beast that existed, you know, for those 4 years. And then it came back in 88 or 89. And I'm a big Pink Floyd fan. So one day I'm in Hollywood, I'm looking at some music, and they have DVDs, and not DVDs, but VHS tapes, right?
Okay.
And here's this VHS tape, and it's Pink Floyd, La Carrera. I'm like, no way.
That's cool.
And it's beautiful. And the music's good, the imagery's good, production's not so good, but
Yeah.
it exists, and it was cool. And that got me so fired up. And then fast forward about almost exactly 20 years
Okay.
from the inception. So you had 89, 2009. No, 10 years. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I was at a car show. I had a reputation for building fast fours.
Okay.
I vintage raced, club
Not
raced.
you.
Back in the day. It's a long time ago. But somebody approached me and they said they wanted to build a La Carrera car, and my head exploded inside. You know, I'm like, oh, I just kept my cool. I'm like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
So, but so the La Carrera race is this really, really incredible spectacle. It's this circus of cars that travels from one city every day to another city.
So 7 days, right?
And then there's the race before the race, which is qualifying, just getting there, a lot of logistics. Generally speaking, I'm gone from the shop for about 20 days.
Okay.
And I don't sleep at all.
Wow.
I get a couple hours a day if I'm lucky. And so most of this chrome on my chin is from La Carrera and raising Ian.
Yeah.
And Patrick and Elizabeth.
That's right.
So, but the race is pretty cool, and it's funny because it's has people in Europe know about it, people in Central and South America know about it, people in Canada know about it, but not so much USA.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
That's a 911 lighting off in the background.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's that RSR car. I think it's going on the alignment rack. So, anyways,
so generally, how many cars are in it? Is there a limit to how many cars can be in?
They're limit, kind of, sort of. But the most I've ever seen there is like 120 cars in one outing.
It is a lot.
Politics and turmoil in the region affect attendance from year to year. I've participated in it since 2009. And I participated in it as a builder, crew chief.
Okay.
And then there's the race between the teams. So I always like to have a pretty fast Duramax.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's where the Chevy comes in.
Oh yeah, baby.
That's awesome. So that's what was going to be my next question is, like, I guess there's roles on the team, right? Are some people just drivers, or some people driving and doing mechanics? Or is it a little bit of both?
So
or?
it's you have a pilot, co-pilot, generally speaking.
Okay.
The pilots and the co-pilot, it's a rally. And there's rally books, and you have a rally computer.
Like traditional, WRC, like rally type stuff, like, you know.
One right, two right.
Yeah.
Break. You know, it's like they're yelling at each other through their microphones the whole time.
Okay.
And really good friends want to kill each other on occasion. You can see it. It goes down. It's a grueling race. The road surfaces are pretty gnarly. There's animals and things and people that do silly things.
I think I saw a video of you once, like on one of the races. You guys had like broken axle. You were under some loading dock somewhere in Mexico trying to like repair it, or I don't remember. It was something like that. I saw
I
some.
think that's when your exhaust took a hit.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Every trip, there's something weird going on.
It was just like, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Like, but I guess that's what you do. What you can. You're out in the middle. You
gotta fix it.
And me, after like 25, 26 hours being awake, I get punchy, playful. So you're
like kind of hallucinating a little bit. And
I don't know what it is. I just like you know.
He'll go through these things where he gets really tired and he starts getting aggressive and like cranky, and then out of nowhere he goes to this euphoric like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey guys,
okay, we're in it now.
I'm floating right now. You're like, dude, what are you doing?
Well, we had to rebuild a motor on the sidewalk in Mexico City last time out.
No, yeah. Wow. And, I do remember you talking about that. Yeah.
And in the dark in front of a hotel. And
the car got stolen across the street.
Yeah, we witnessed a brand new Mercedes getting stolen
while you guys are out there working.
We're like, what's that guy doing? It's like 2 a.m, you know, and it's going bop 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 bop, and then
see ya.
He drives down the street and crashes. Airbags deploy and he walks away.
Not too successful.
He manages to get it to start somehow.
I think that story has a good start and finish. You got to see the car getting stolen.
Yes.
And crashes it.
We saw the whole thing.
Yeah. Instantly gone.
We didn't get to see what happened with the insurance report, but other than that, it's all good.
So that leads me to, are you going on these rallies?
Yeah. I went back in, I believe, 2010 and 11 for the La Carrera and the Chihuahua Express.
Okay. How was that experience? Did you enjoy it? Do you think you would ever want to get into start doing that, or?
I'll be down again. It's my wife I have to convince to let me go to Mexico.
That makes sense.
I saw a lot of things. And I learned how much I hate. I've learned how much to appreciate our speed bumps because the ones in Mexico are just everywhere.
Yeah,
like you're on a highway or just this road going through the desert or middle of nowhere, and it's like you're driving through New Mexico. There's like nothing.
Yeah,
and out of nowhere, there's this giant speed bump, and it just destroys you.
Oh my god!
And it blends in with the road. You don't see it.
It's just like go go.
Oh, we launched the wheels off the top.
One time during the Chihuahua Express,
God.
we were on the road to Divisadero out of Chihuahua, and it's wide open. And there's certain signs, now that we're veterans, you kind of look to see what the people are doing on the side of the road. Because I saw these people standing on the other side of the road. I'm like, why are these people standing here? There's no bus stop. What's going on here? Well, there was this topa that was about 6 feet across. And it ramped up at a 45-degree angle to like 8 inches. And we were in my old Duramax.
So they knew that's where the action was going to happen.
We had an empty trailer with a tire rack on top.
God.
Full of wheels and tires, and we hit that thing so hard that it sheared the support for the spares, and all the spares launch, and they're going 70 miles an hour.
Oh like a shotgun blast.
My God.
And people were running for their lives on the side of the road. I mean, it was like, yeah.
The best part is watching them casually get our tires for us. And
Yeah.
they're laughing.
They're like, oh.
We took a fence down. It just destroyed.
Yeah.
the fence.
Oh my.
Yeah, this was just fancy. Got it, bang, and just done. Just leveled it.
Bazookaed a bunch of tires off the top of the.
We bent 2
We
wheels.
lost 2 wheels.
Because some of them caught an edge and started doing the side flip. Bang! And it would just bend the shit out. We had to throw them away.
And then that was the La Carrera that year that I went was when they removed their sump cover.
Yes.
And we had to refill oil every single stop.
Oh.
The sump was broken, and there's really no way for me to fix it other than replace the motor. And so I just kept putting goo on it and praying, and it worked. We won.
Yeah. I was going to say it worked. Yeah. Winners. So at the end of it, because it's such a grueling race, talking about what you circling back to what you were saying, is there ever a time do you one of these things that when it ends, do you ever say, so you're like, it's it, I'm not doing it next year, I'm not going to do it?
Well,
did I strike something without knowing here?
Yep, you did. So
sorry if I'm leading you.
I'm at a good place. I've built some winning cars. I have participated in the event quite a few times. I'm not saying I'm never going to do it again, but I did tell both teams that for sure this year we're taking a break. I mean, they can do whatever they want, and I'll fix the cars and prep them.
Yeah.
But if they want to go, they're going to have to get another shop or another a Mexican
another
provider.
support vehicle and all that stuff.
Ship the cars out in a container. So.
Okay. So they still do I saw one the cars in there, so they're just still doing vehicle prep, but then they're on their own basically once they leave, right? Is that what's going on for this year?
But these are proven cars, so I mean they're, I don't want to. There's some years where you just check the oil and the torque on the lugs, and the car just wins.
Really?
That's happened twice, and it's
a good year.
The best
I was gonna say that makes for a good year. You're like, I just want to do that every year. Then
you do a year. It pretty much the whole goal of the race is essentially hurt the car as little as possible.
Oh, I would imagine. Yeah. Nobody wants to go out there and beat the shit out of something and have to replace everything, right?
It's very difficult to not beat the shit out of your car on that race.
It's awful.
Well, yeah, I've seen the video. I think I was watching somebody on a 911 just drive over something and something snapped and they're like, well, just lost the rear end.
The attrition is huge. Every day the cars leave.
Yeah.
So our goal is to keep it going. I had one DNF.
Okay.
Out of 7 appearances.
Wow. So that's pretty good. So of those 120 cars, if you had to ballpark, how many you think are finishing the race out of those 120?
Oh, probably
20.
Well, it depends. I mean, no, we get quite a. I would say that we probably lose 15 to 20% of the cars.
Okay.
And what happens is people really want to finish, so they may not win, but they want to finish, and they don't finish.
So they almost kind of once they've conceded they're not going to win, it turns into an endurance thing. They're like, I just want to do it now.
You know the guy. You see the guy at the marathon who's crawling across the finish line. That happens. I mean, the cars are destroyed.
Just pushing them across.
Talladega Nights at that point just run across.
Yeah. Ricky Bobby.
That's it. That is the nickname of.
The yellow car.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I love it.
They call it the shake and bake.
You guys got to put Fig Newtons on the windshield as a sponsor.
It's pretty funny.
Oh man.
So with that race, I did a little research in since the second half and it restarted. Can you explain to me, since you guys participate in the race, and I don't know a lot about it, and maybe, you know, if anybody else reads about it, why do Studebakers win that race so much? Is it because they're tanks? Is that why? Is it
aerodynamics?
Okay.
And then the chassis underneath.
It's not a Studebaker anymore.
It's a race. It's a NASCAR.
Okay, so it's just
motor.
It's just only that by name.
Yeah, it's the top of the Studebaker.
Okay.
But early on, back in the day, they won because they're aerodynamic and the chassis were set up, and the early cars weren't as fancy as what. Because see, they have a vintage class.
Okay.
As ran at La Carrera, and top speed on those cars maybe $120 or something. Then they have these unlimited classes like Sport Mahort, which are they're major league cars. I mean, they've got everything a NASCAR has.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
I did not know that.
Not playing around then.
Holy crap. So,
And, I mean, these guys have dog boxes and
holy crap.
just everything's vicious and mechanical. You can hear them coming in.
Yeah.
All the
Straight
gears,
cut gears.
everything. They're just rolling in. Some of those cars have over 700 horsepower.
Holy crap.
They get up in the buck 80 plus. See, the race has changed. It used to go all the way from like Tuxtla Gutierrez or Veracruz all the way to Laredo, Nuevo Laredo. And so that's the whole length of Mexico.
Yeah.
And that the last little bit that went through Monterrey to get into Laredo is just this long ass road. And that's where the speed was, man.
yeah.
These guys, whatever your car would do,
Just top them out, huh?
pop them out,
Nice.
Wow.
keep them together, watch your gauges.
Holy
But
crap.
those sections are gone. They've been gone for a while. The race has been ending in Zacatecas and more lately in Durango.
Okay.
So we don't get those long stretches like we used to.
Yeah.
I still love Zacatecas.
That's one of my favorite places.
That's
Whoever has
cool.
my phone in Zacatecas, I hope you enjoy it.
That was funny.
Yeah, I know. Uh-huh.
Just bought a new phone for the race.
Uh-huh.
Lost it.
So somebody else got a phone for the race. Nice.
So you bought somebody else a phone.
I didn't lose
Yeah.
my phone. This guy Graham decides to go in this bar, and the bar's packed, and it's a bunch of youngsters, and you're just like shoulder to shoulder, cheek to cheek, and I felt my phone leave my pocket. And I couldn't turn around. I'm like, oh man, and that was it.
And it was gone that
And I had all
fast,
the
huh?
video, all the photos on that phone that year. So
No. Well,
The year before that, I got drunk.
the best was, you call Verizon, like, did you get a police report? I'm like, are you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly did.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Before that, he's at the award ceremony when I was with him. And there was like a parade before, like a parade going to the award ceremony, and they were handing out shot glasses with mezcal, with like donkeys. And
Oh, they had a donkey, a burro with mezcal on
Really?
his back.
I
Yeah.
was destroyed. Last thing I remember was fireworks going on. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. And when I looked around, everyone's gone.
You're like,
He's enjoying the award ceremony, and I'm lost on the streets of Zacatecas at like
it's hilarious.
One in the morning.
He's like,
I'm lost in Mexico by myself.
almost 3 hours to get back to the hotel. And he's like, where have you been? I'm like,
Yeah. I'm like, where you been, man?
Good question. I don't know.
You survived.
Yeah. Did some like fear come over you at some point where you're like, I'm in Mexico, I'm by myself, and I don't know what's happening here.
Parade going on, so I think no matter where I would have been at that hour alone on the streets of some city, I would have been scared. But
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I can't get any worse than where I'm at now.
Those Irish muscles are important.
Yes.
All right.
You're like, I'm going to be an indentured servant if I don't get out of here soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. So it sounds like a pretty amazing event. We've obviously never been. We're all on the East Coast, but I've done my research, knowing that you participate in it and support vehicle, and that's pretty cool. As far as like that race and the tradition behind it, I think it's pretty neat. And there's another one that I think you helped build cars for. Was at the Peking to Paris, right?
We
cool.
actually have built cars for Peking to Paris. Yeah.
Do you ever have any desire to ever go on that race?
I have a desire to go on every single race.
Well, let me rephrase that. I shouldn't say that. Are you going to do that?
Let's just say this, right? Like I've been putting.
You should do a father-son team, and
No,
then
no,
you'll
absolutely.
like murder each other on the way there.
No,
Like-
I think we'll be all right.
No, I'm really good at sleeping in the passenger seat. You're gonna love it.
Eric's got you beat.
He does. Man.
But no, it's there's some things I have on the back burner that I need to pull the trigger on the next couple of years. But I've been so focused on the business. it was weird. Back in 2008, 2009, when the economy tanked, and 2010 was like a dead zone. But when my buddy told me that some dude is selling his Ferraris and he's buying Porsches back in 2011, I'm like, it's happening.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I had an epiphany. And I had a decision to make to go big or go home. And literally go home, because I've worked out of my house many, many times over the years. And there was a group of people nearby that were good craftsmen, and they were having hard times. And that's how this version of Benton Performance happened.
Okay.
So they're not all with us now, but early on, you
kind of pulled it all in and said, hey, we should all work on the same team type of situation.
And it's tough because these are proud men. They've had businesses, and a lot of them want to go back to that. But the reality is, I'm a softie when it comes to seeing people I respect having a hard time.
Yeah.
And I just decided to give it all up. I'm not. If the whole world's eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches, I'm gonna eat peanut butter. It's like. And when everybody else eating steak, then it feels right to me. I don't know how to explain it, but
I know what you're saying.
I don't like celebrating while Rome's burning.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
So, we brought a group together. That's why the family atmosphere is here.
Yeah.
And emotions run high sometimes.
Yeah.
Because proud guys, they had a business, maybe it didn't work out, but get people stable on their feet.
Yeah.
Where they can make a good decision about where they're going. That feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good story. And then your friend, you guys I only know it from the video, but the Datsun that got built that went on the Peking to Paris. That's a pretty awesome story in itself.
Yeah, John Coffey had Beta Motorsports. He was in SCCA. God bless you, man, wherever you're at. And he was a really, really good chassis guy, good fabricator, and he was a Datsun guy to the bone. And when this build became available, it was because of him. And we were just opening the shop. I'm like, dude, roll with it. Let's do this, And so he basically took over Outdoor Bay 2 and just started ripping.
Yeah.
And
getting the car ready.
That car finished. It took gold.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And it's still out there. It'll be participating this year.
Really?
I believe it was rebuilt in Europe somewhere.
Okay.
It was severely damaged.
During the race?
Oh, yeah. I mean, those cars get beat to hell.
I was going to say, I know that's really...
Fractured A-pillars, all kinds of stuff.
Those things are made out of paper mache to begin with.
They're very lightly made. We reinforced what we could, but there's a lot of weight bearing on the roof. I did it again. I'd do it a different way, but that was, Coffee put his heart and soul in that car. And then more recently, we got the opportunity to build a car for Mark Goditis and Nico Samaras.
Okay.
From 4till4. And we built a pretty healthy little 912. We don't know what all the pitfalls are before it, but I'm hoping that they don't hit anything bad.
Yeah.
Submerge the car. Hopefully it'll be all right. Because unlike Mexico, there's no support chase.
You're on your own, right?
I believe so. Yeah. So all their spares and everything are on board.
And that's essentially a 30-day race through just the nastiest terrain you can think about, right?
Yep.
So it's you got to be a wrench and a driver and everything, basically. Ingenuity and finding bubble gum and bamboo on the side of the road to fix the car.
And it's pretty much every environment for the most part, from the Gobi Desert down to rivers and...
Oh, yeah. It goes all the way up into Siberia.
Now, is that classed up too? They have different classes in that one, or
they do, yeah, they do, because they have the old locomotive cars.
Okay, yeah, I've seen those, the old school Bentley looking cars that are just.
And I believe that's how the race was originally in 1909 or whenever. What was it again? Anyway, there was a legitimate start for that race, and then again it was a rebirth, and it's been going on for some time now.
That's
that's a significant.
So is that a bucket list race for you guys?
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah, on a unicycle with backpacks.
Wait, so both of us on one unicycle?
Got to make it
on somebody's shoulders.
Yeah, no, it would be fun to build a little.
Get
machine.
a permanent nut indention in the back of your neck from somebody ready.
We're not doing it in a Carrera. It'll be an air-cooled car.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So like for a race like that, since we were talking about it, the terrain, like if you had to think about it, would it have to be kind of a safari type of build? Like the car needs to be a little lifted? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Peking to Paris car we built for them is all Porsche bits, all stuff that Porsche had on the shelf for the most part. Nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We just made it to where it would articulate a little better. It has 4 inches of travel in both directions.
Oh, wow.
And Bilstein heavy-duty struts and shocks.
That's good to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I flew over curbs and stuff, playing with
Testing it.
So much fun. And it's got
Testing it.
Yeah, and it's got the Pirelli Scorpion rally tires on it in the medium compound.
Nice.
Quietest tires ever.
They roar, man.
I was going to say, like, whining so loud.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
Just screaming their face off.
Yep.
That just sounds like an awesome, like, cool, like, bonding experience too, and just to see the stuff you probably get to see and the experiences you get to go through. Like a lot of the stuff we talk about, like even in Tampa when we go to like stuff like 4 or 5 hours away, just riding as a group in a convoy, like that's my favorite part, just the drive part, just to see that, and we talked about, we don't want anything to go wrong, but actually when something does go wrong, that kind of helps build a memory, right? Like when the car goes perfect, yeah, you're going to be happy and everything went right, but you're not going to really remember that particular drive as much as the one when like some goes real sideways or something. You're like, how the hell did a bird get in here and like destroy this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but it happened.
As long as nobody ends up in the hospital, it's all fun.
Exactly.
And then depends on what happened to them.
Hey, does this have a echo chamber echo chamber effector?
Yeah.
Still beer in your glass.
This is a mug. It's a Stein.
It's a Stein.
It's made of glass, though.
9. It's a Stein. 9. It's a Stein.
But like the 912 registry, we have the rendezvous. Now there's East and West Coast rendezvous. But on the years I go, it's funny. There's always somebody, and it usually ends up being me. People break down on the side of the road.
It's always him. It's not you.
It's that.
But he's always known as the
Yeah. Where's John at?
I broke down because I was ill prepared.
Well,
John, help me.
we were, what was it?
You know how to fix this with sand, right?
you know Mark Perbanek, right?
Yes.
He's your homie, right?
Yes.
So he came out for Rensport one year, and it was a year.
Thank you for telling this story because I was going to ask you, not to interrupt. Continue.
It's just funny because
Please tell
Mark's
this story.
a character, and he's got this car that, dude, that is a rough car, Mark. You heard it from me, and it's not the first time you've heard it from me. But anyways, the car has appeal, it has personality, and it's pretty rough, and it's just this little A car, It's a delicate car, but man, he takes it all over the place.
He treats it like a four-wheeler.
And there was this Road to Rensport thing that Magnus hosted with Momo. And I'm like, I really want to do that. And at last minute, I just crashed it. And I parked in line, and I walk up, and Magnus was there with Karen, and hey, hello. And I'm like, hey, yeah, just go get a bag, sign up. So I went on the Road to Rensport, and we got to Willow Springs to do some fun laps. And I was hungry, so I went in the cantina and got a hamburger. And I'm sitting there, and somebody walks up, puts their hand on my shoulder. Are you John? I'm like, yeah. There's a guy named Mark Prebanek. His car exploded on Angeles, and it's on its way to your shop.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I'm like,
that's cool because I'm here, so I don't know how that's going to work.
So I did not go to Rensport.
Oh, so that
I came here. I called your ass to come help.
Yeah.
He did say that you guys burned the midnight oil and got that.
We built him a motor. It was
That's essentially
out of used stuff. And just sent him on his way. And he went to Rensport.
That's so crazy. He did. Like, he was infinitely grateful when we talked to him about that, and he told us that story. And he's just like, dude, he's like, this is why I drive it. And I was like, well, that's cool.
Hey, that's that cool painting over there.
Yeah, that little painting on the wall.
The door's blocked.
That's a Mark Prebanek original. This is a black and white painting of
okay.
912.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to the stories, it's people like you and Mark and the community is like where I'm tying that together is why it's so strong, because there's that brotherhood. There's that.
There is, but I'm getting older and crotchety now, so my patience for foolishness.
Don't reach out to John when your ship explodes if you don't prepare.
Well, it's just one of those things where self-inflicted wounds get old after a while. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, guys. There's so much information. I don't want to be the downer here. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But even during La Carrera, he will help the other crews there.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
I've helped a lot of teams
Yeah.
that we're not going to finish.
Yeah.
Their motors are so
But that's just who
lean
you
that
are as a
man.
person, though, I think. You know, like, not even knowing you, but what I know of you, like, you're just that guy. Like, and that's a great trait to have, you know, a great, like, hey, you're down, like, you clearly don't know what you're doing. I have knowledge. I can help you. Would you like help? You know, and it's like, as opposed to like, well, see you want to see you, you know, as opposed to like,
before I was fully formed, and I'm probably not there yet. I was
you haven't fully transformed. You're not a butterfly yet.
Well, my ace in the hole was I was infinitely curious, like to a fault, like walk through flames.
It's not
to
that
find
kind
out
of show.
What's going on? Yeah, there you go.
No, just kidding.
But I was always like searching and wanting to know more. And air cooled cars. I loved air cooled cars, and I spent a lot of time around them, and I started these old crotchety dudes that did not want to share. I was just like, I wore them down.
Yeah, made them uncomfortable, right?
And they're like, come here, you know, like this is how you do it. And like Adam Buchler at Tony's Auto Repair, I can never thank him enough. And Francela and Herta and their son Richard, they're good people. Mm-hmm. And they took me under their wing. You know, I would ride down there on my bicycle with a carburetor, you know, and he would come with me and show me how to, surface the carburetor and rebuild it and check the accelerator pump. All right. And then I'd come back the next week with a distributor.
Yeah.
And stick the distributor in their machine and look at it, and, and he's like, "Oh, this is a mess," and then we play with it, put a weld here, grind there, whatever, and okay, now put that in. And after like 6 months of goofing around, my Volkswagen ran pretty good.
Yeah,
had no license, no registration. I was 15.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
When I don't have registration, you get all that.
They're hunting for you. But I think that, do you think, and you could tell me because you lived it, but you think it's a different time? Like if somebody were to do something like that nowadays, you think a young kid could go to a shop? And I'm not trying to encourage people to go to people's shops to do that, but you make it, somebody may be accepting, somebody might not be.
Time.
So that's awesome.
To this day.
Like, so people pop in and say, hey, I want to do this. So you hear it first. John does that. You do that in Florida, and it's like you're going to get cut, like throat punched. They're gonna be like, the front desk is around the front desk is around the corner, and the labor rate's on the wall if you need some help. Like,
well, from a liability standpoint,
I get that.
But this is.
But from a teaching standpoint, do you
feel like you have to get away with it these days? You have to be a young kid looking to do it. You can't just be.
I was gonna say you couldn't. You couldn't be a 20-something enthusiast, because then they'd just be like, dude, just pay, man. Like I'm not gonna
have to find the old breed.
Yeah,
I've had men that are retired come in here.
Yeah,
asking if they could help or do something
just so they can learn. Yeah, but you're a different guy. Like we talked about that earlier.
Pat Long helped assemble his motor.
That's cool. I like Pat.
He did that quick.
He's a sharp guy.
He's faster than Eric.
Oh, you're gonna start a fight now. But no, that was fun. No, stuff like that. Sometimes people want to be hands on, and I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna call you sometime next week.
Yeah, that's Pat's 912 out there, right? The green one, right?
The green 66. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome car.
Yeah,
it's fun to put around it.
Yeah,
it's a nice little solid build.
It looks cool too.
Yeah, it's just
I like it.
Well-balanced
it's got a lot of character too. Mm-hmm. Looks cool.
Yeah, it'll probably be out there at Luft.
Yeah.
Make sure you touch it, because every time you touch it, it'll leave fingerprints. Cause
I could tell, yeah.
That mat.
Yeah.
All the pores.
The paint's open.
Yeah, just like write something on it.
Love you, Pat.
Yeah, Pat, I'm stalking you.
What else is there? What else you got?
No, we're just kind of shooting. Like we don't really follow a whole lot of this. We're just kind of rolling. So
yeah, freeform's fine with me. We were the first recipients of the Wolfpack. Mm-hmm. Kevin Lynch's foundation.
Yeah.
To bring people that have an interest in old air cooled. So
I saw
Micah
that.
Stevens,
that's awesome. Yeah.
He's gone from being an intern apprentice to an employee, but he's going to school studying engineering, so he's part-time. But if he can spare a day, we can give him one.
That's pretty cool, though. Like, I think that's a dying art from at least the places I know. At least, and I can only speak for my geographic area. Like in Tampa, all the air-cooled shops and stuff like that. I mean, not that you guys aren't busy. Like we talked about how busy you guys are, but you find time. Like the guys where I'm at, like they just don't have time for it. They're just like, no,
Always busy.
It's not even if you tried to go in there and do it, like you'd be like, I want to pay you to teach me to work. They're like, actually pay to be in here. They're like, nah, we can't.
I think that's a personal decision that they make. Taking a few minutes out of your day. I mean, you think of all the stupid things you can do on a given day. That's a time waster.
Yeah, like this.
Well, this is fun. It's communicating. It's sharing. But I
have to drink.
Yeah.
On the job.
Woo.
Yay.
That will make me clock out. It's all good.
Dock his pay.
Val's very, very efficient.
I have to give Val a shout out.
Yep. When you call the shop, you talk to Val, and you got to get through her to get to me. So
I can appreciate that. You keep him honest. So, like, rewinding way back before we close out, as far as your air-cooled love, I remember you telling a story about riding in your aunt's Beetle.
Cousin Denise.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. And talking about that experience when you were driving and just basically seeing, like, peaks of the horizon. That kind of resonated with me when you, like, told that.
No, it's hilarious because
I remember that when I was young, like, my dad had a Beetle, and I just remember, like, before all this safety regulations and all that kind of stuff, and kids were strapped down and there were seats and all that stuff. I remember just running around in the back of the Beetle.
Yeah, there weren't any seatbelts.
Yeah, like playing in the back of the Beetle. I remember that. Like,
they had a lanyard to grab onto or a handle on the dash.
Exactly.
It's like, okay.
It's like, I mean, you weren't really going fast enough or anything, really. So it wasn't like you were getting tossed around in there. Like, it was just kind of like a big playhouse.
I've crawled from some pretty gnarly accidents.
Yeah.
In cars that had no seatbelts.
Oh,
I can speak for myself. I was never drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drive drunk. I don't do stuff like that. But I've crawled from some pretty gnarly accidents.
Oof.
And I think it's just the luck of the bounce.
Uh-huh.
But Volkswagens take a hit pretty good. So do Porsches.
Yeah.
If everything's in place, like a 911, when the spare's there and everything, they crush and they bend and stuff. But you know, I've seen some pretty nasty accidents. Not just myself, but Porsches and Volkswagens. It's not.
I have too. I've seen
bad.
some people in some buses getting some bad accidents, and you'd see the aftermath, and you're like, "There's no way anybody lived." And they're like, they walked away from that, and they're like, "What?"
Well, that package tray on a bus, it hurts. It hurts your legs. I just gotta tell you, that metal package tray. Oof.
I bet. Yeah.
Or whatever the parcel tray.
Yeah, that parcel tray. How long have you had your single cab for?
I got that single cab in 2013.
Okay.
I knew about it for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
It belonged to a gentleman named Carl Brill, and his brother. So that thing was sitting behind a house in Sierra Madre, and it was buried to the bottom of the chassis in dirt, surrounded by grass and 2 trees.
Holy crap.
So it took us...
It wasn't going anywhere.
And
the Earth owned that car at the time.
Yep. So when Carl passed away and Mike asked me to help him go get it, I thought I was going to go over there and help a tow truck, pull it out. And I told Mike, I'm like, Mike, we can't get this out of here right now. So we had to cut down trees.
I was going to say, you didn't realize that you were going to be doing some arbor work, huh?
I think it was stuck.
And so it took like 3 consecutive weekends to finally get it into a position where a flatbed could come drag it out.
Holy crap.
And I wanted it. And I asked him if I could buy it. And he says, oh, no, you can't buy it. I'm sorry. So I waited a long, long time.
After all that.
And I was in Mexico.
So you helped drag it out. And then it was like, sorry, you can't have it.
Yep.
Thanks for that.
But I was in Mexico racing, and I get a call from Mike Brill.
Uh-huh.
He says, you still want that single cab? I'm like, yeah.
Really hard to get. You know?
So you had to go get it.
Yeah, and it was still buried.
That's when you hit him back with a smart ass. The one you made me dig out and cut all out for you.
I would never play that card, but it was running through my mind.
Well, when we were about to get it, it had reburied itself.
Yeah.
Wow, that much time had gone by.
sat in
where,
another
Like
yard.
he dug it out and just put it somewhere else.
The tires were flat, but it was actually buried that deep where it was touching.
Oh man, you're like, wait a minute, I had to dig this thing out twice.
The single cab part was covered with pine sap.
Oh my god.
The bed was full of rotten avocados, leaves, and twigs from avocado tree from like 10 years of accumulation.
Wow. That's a find right there. I found mine in North Florida and it had been sitting there for 30 years behind an old VW shop. It had been sitting there. Luckily, the earth didn't eat it. It was just sitting back there.
Good.
Like, it was crazy, but yeah, that's a hell of a story, having to like dig that thing out twice.
Yeah.
Poor thing. I don't do anything special with it. Everything on the cars, the wheels are the wheels it came with, the brake drums.
Yep.
Everything, and then later. Okay, so originally when it all got put back together, it was all the same stuff that was there.
Okay.
Everything.
That's awesome.
Just refreshed, and then later on, on the freeway, it became a liability. Like, a truck goes by and you feel like you're going to die.
Yeah,
you're possibly going to.
With 45-degree play in the steering wheel, and you're just like.
Well, it goes pretty fast compared to walking.
Yeah,
that's
compared to
point.
walking.
That's a good point.
But I put Willwoods on the front of it, lowered it with drop spindles, lowered the back end, and bumped the motor up to 1641. All the original stuff that was in it, I put away.
Yeah. That's kind of what we did with mine. Like, we took all the original stuff out of it, and I still have it, but we did a rebuild motor, all that kind of stuff, and we just did a 1600 dual port on it and brought it back to life, and it's peppy and runs does what it's supposed to do.
It's a good motor. It's hard to kill.
Yeah.
We have the frame for the back, right?
We have all that stuff.
Put the canvas on.
Yeah, I have that all put away.
That's awesome.
Like, we went car camping the other day in Joshua Tree, and I brought the single cab instead of the 12 because I wanted to really, really cook. So I told Brenda, my wife, when we left, I said, I'm going to try to pop this motor because I've been wanting to put a 912 motor in the back of the single cab. And so
you're trying to smoke it?
Yeah, and I told her, if it pops, don't worry, we're fine. It's just we're going to have to coast to the side and call a tow truck.
Yeah.
She's like, all right. So I got on it, getting on the highway, and had my foot in it all the way from 29 Palms to here. And it doesn't care.
No problem.
It wasn't having it. It's like, nope, not dying.
The thing is, I mean, I know you've seen it. Like, they've done like crazy stuff like that, where they'll take oil out of it and they'll run it, and it'll just it'll run for like 400 or 500 miles without like oil before it pops. Like, that's the crazy thing about those engines. It's just like
they used to do it. I don't know what they do now, but at the bug-ins, they used to do that on purpose. They drain all the oil out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they just put the brick on the accelerator and just like.
Yeah, but it's not lubricated.
Yeah, exactly. You would think all that friction, something would blow up soon. Right? Yeah.
Have you seen those kids on the YouTube run that? I think it's a little Ford with they replace all the oil with WD-40.
No. What?
I'll leave it at that. Take a peek at that.
Oh my God. Okay. Well,
God bless them. I love everything about that.
That's awesome. Well, I know we took a lot of your time. You got any questions, Aaron?
I pretty much asked all my questions.
Yeah,
I know
really?
I'm a pretty quiet guy. Yeah.
But so, like, everybody who might not know on the East Coast, like, your specialty, what you guys do here, you mainly work on what, air-cooled 911s, 912s, and what, 356s.
I'm
pretty much,
super
right?
well known for 912s because it's always been my thing.
Okay.
I can have whatever I want.
Yeah.
I can go build anything, and I mean anything. I can build anything. And I just like 912s.
Yeah.
I think it's a good balance, and it's a...
You think you guys... Wait, where's your cutoff? Maybe 964 as far as you want to go? Like, do you guys do anything?
Yeah, we do. We're all the way up into... As long as it's air-cooled, that's where we're at. We love it. Turbos, normally aspirated. We can make it go.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I pretty much... That's all I really have. I appreciate you guys' time. I mean, do you have anything else for them with that?
I think one of the questions we didn't ask was, where do you think the hobby's going next?
See, that's the thing. As a hobby, it's going to become harder and harder to own a vintage car of any sort. Right now, world governments and major corporations are moving towards not only autonomy, but electric vehicles. And municipalities are going to start saying, hey, you can't drive that here anymore. It's just a matter of time, and I get it. But I believe in my heart that there'll be a place for these cars somewhere, somehow.
I agree.
And I got to make something very clear that this business is a passion-driven business, and if it was strictly driven by making a shitload of money, we would not be having this conversation right now. Okay, I don't live a monastic life, but I live a fairly simple life, and I enjoy it. I really, really do. And
it's for the love, right? At the end of the day, it's for the passion. That's what really makes, I think, all of us tick, and I think our common bond, right?
So
like
that same passion will keep this alive. And so as a hobby, privateers, it's like, okay, like in an apocalyptic world, okay, or a world that doesn't have machine shops around the corner. The only thing that will keep that alive are people that have a passion for it. So in the future, there is a future as a hobbyist, or as a wealthy person who can afford to pay someone to make it part of their stable.
Yeah, I think it probably will end up that way.
Because I believe there will be car-friendly states, the flyover states or states that are not part of the major municipal areas. They'll say, hey, bring your car collection.
You want to move here? Come on down. Yeah.
Like you think about things like Auto Car Club in Scottsdale. Like, why would you spend $80 billion? I know it's millions of dollars, whatever it is, but why would you do that? Well, it's either a tax write-off or it's a really brilliant idea because they're seeing the future.
Yeah, it's true.
So you live in LA, you live in New York, whatever. And like, you know what? The weather's good over in Scottsdale. Go pick up my car and go for a drive because it's that compelling. The lure of having a vintage air-cooled Porsche, it is alluring. If you don't have it, you miss it.
Yeah, and I think and to piggyback on what you're saying, it almost kind of, it won't be this extreme, but it always reminds me of people who, like into equestrian type stuff, like horses, and like they have a very high breed of horse, and granted, they might not be the best rider in the world, but they want to have the best horse that they can have, and they want to be able to ride it every once in a while and be able to say, hey, that horse is in great shape. I want to do that. I kind of think of the 911 or Porsche or any type of classic car in that kind of like realm of like
you can use a razor blade
like that kind
or
of
a scalpel.
That kind of like cachet, right? Like where it's that special, where it's like I want that thing, and that's I can afford it, and it's going to be that. And I think it'll go that way. I mean, eventually.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. I think it might take longer than we think, even with laws, even with Europe doing it. I mean, like we talked about with Porsche making that mandate, their whole lineup going to having an electric car. And when we talked about the Cayman and the Boxster not even being mentioned, they're going to come out with a full electric one in 2022. So
well, you have to realize that a lot of the strategy for the future got derailed by Dieselgate. It's an unfortunate happenstance. Arrogance will always bite you on your ass, no matter who you are, where you are.
Totally agree with that.
And flying in the face of reality, and it's a sad deal. But I still love their products. I still think that Volkswagen, Porsche AG, Audi, that whole group, what remains of Auto Union that is alive today, is still probably one of the greatest engineering groups in the world, in the history of the world. And because of that, what they want goes. We live in this, maybe we might think that in California, what happens here happens in the world. That is true to some extent. But we're going to find out real fast what happens when the German auto machine changes from diesel forward to electric forward.
Yeah, when they change gears, what's going to happen?
You can't stop it.
Yeah, good point. One more thing before we close. I just remembered one of our listeners asked us a few weeks ago a 912 question, didn't really have the answer for him, and I figured you could probably do it. He wanted to do, he wants to build a motor and wants to do endurance racing, but he wants to up the horsepower, but he was saying, like, from a reliable horsepower standpoint, what number would you think as far as like 200 horsepower,
on
225 on a 912 motor?
On a 912 motor?
Uh-huh.
Well, here's the thing.
Because he wants to do, like, I guess, and he didn't get into the details with us, but that's just kind of his generic question.
It's just a general question, I guess.
Yeah, well, like,
reliability-wise.
Well, we told him to stay around 200, but
achieving 200 horsepower on a 616 motor is a phenomenal achievement, okay? And I don't think it's something that will last very long.
Okay.
Now, mind you, when you are going to join a group of people, there's rules normally for the build. So you have a class or category that you build to. There's a spec. So like for La Carrera, you're limited to 1.6 liters or 2 liters.
Okay.
So there are builders that are building beyond 2 liters in a 616 motor. I am not a big fan of that per se, personally.
Yeah.
The ceiling for me most of the time is a 1.7 liter.
Okay.
We build up to 1.9 liter with a stock stroke.
Okay.
You got to remember these little 616 motors are very, very, very tiny inside, and the distance between the hold on a second. Hey Ross, come here.
He's like, what? I'm just trying to get some.
So, but 200 horsepower is not realistic.
Okay.
You want 200 horsepower? Put a Type 4 in there. Put a polo motor in there.
Yeah, I was thinking that was even extreme when we threw that number out there too, because we're not well versed in that.
125 to 135 horsepower can be very, very reliable.
Okay.
Here's the thing: you have the same gear train as a 911.
Mm-hmm.
So 7,000 RPM in a given gear is a given speed with the same tire and everything considered. The difference between a 911 and a 912 is that you have more torque, so you can push harder through the gear.
Uh-huh.
But once you get up to speed, see, this is where it gets interesting, because like my personal car, I can rev to 7,000 RPM all day long.
Yeah.
So I can be with any early 911.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hold my R's.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to carry my speed. If I can drive and I can master my smaller displacement and keep my revs up and keep me in the power band, I can do interesting things. And my 912,
because you're already in motion.
Yep,
yes.
Momentum.
Yeah.
And I can carry momentum in a different way than a 911 because there's less weight. Mm-hmm. Dynamically, it's different just by design. So there's a lot of different ways to I don't know what sanctioning body he'd be running with.
We didn't either. Like, and it was just something that just kind of came to me at last minute, like as before we closed. But I was, since you're the guru, and I was thinking about that, I was like, and he asked us that question. I was like, well, let's ask John because he knows, and that's a lofty number on that 200. So
I mean, you can achieve like the rule of thumb is.
What's your car probably running on butt dyno like horsepower? You think?
My little car?
Yeah,
probably 140 horse.
Okay.
Twin spark, 1.7 liter.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it rolls out nice.
I was gonna say it's pretty stout. I bet you it gets going.
It goes to 7,000 RPM in every gear.
Yeah.
So, it's fun to drive.
Yeah. Again, you don't need a ton of horsepower to have fun, guys. Like, so.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Like, go out and do some stuff first. I mean, it's like, I mean, you think of all the great races and all the great accolades that early Porsche had with sub 2 liter cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can have a lot of fun with a little bit of power if it's all about the gun show.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then build your 4.2 liter twin spark 6-cylinder with a turbo and 2 blowers.
Just go nuts, right?
And nitrous.
Exactly.
And,
just build your RSR motor and just
do whatever you want. It's all good. It's a free country.
Yeah.
But we like building, little air-cooled machines. It's fun.
Fun cars.
Now I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
Well, thank you guys, man. This was awesome. This was organic. This was fun. Thank you for taking the time and spending some time with us.
All right. I hope it was worth the time. We're just jibber jabbering.
That's all we all do.
I still have like a half an hour of work, so we can keep this.
He's like, let's keep it running, man.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for considering us.
No, this is awesome, guys. Thanks.
And thanks.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of PCAR Talk. Connect with us on Instagram at PCAR Talk or online at pcartalk.com.